how much easier is it to just sell a Black Cell bundle than to organize a whole Call of Duty League, where you have to be having negotiations with all these different orgs and teams and dealing with talent. You have to find venues. You have to hire film crews. The people in charge of the hiring, you have to pay them a salary. You have a whole esports division. It's just a tremendous expense and amount of time and payroll. If COD just stopped doing esports, they would lose the advertiser revenue, but they could also fire everyone in the esports division.
For ad-free episodes, as well as early access and bonus episodes, check out our Patreon.
Activision devs do not play their own game.
3,000 devs can't figure out how to add a reconnect feature to a AAA title, I guess. I don't know.
Because Infinity Ward doesn't tell their consumers anything.
Maybe that'll take some of the sweats away from Shoot House.
You can cope about that, for sure.
Thanks for tweeting, at least. Thanks for doing more than Infinity Ward has done. They just keep tweeting about the soccer bundles in the store.
Things that are bad. We got a couple words. Why don't you kick it off, Tanner?
This is going to be a longer section than the first part you guys heard.
Change it, obviously, of course. We are live, boys and girls. Welcome to Dropshot, Call of Duty Podcast, episode number, it's a lot of episodes, 342. Eventually that number is going to get too high. It's going to be like 1,500. And it's just
Joe
a lot
Rogan,
of syllables.
what is he on, episode 1,600 or something?
Some crazy shit like that, yeah. We're going to catch up to him, though. We do more episodes than him.
We have
anyway,
a better podcast, too.
That's correct, yeah. And
Joe
more
Rogan
popular.
Sucks.
Fuck Joe Rogan. I don't know. I like Joe Rogan better before the Spotify deal, but he's still fine, I guess. Anyway, welcome to the show. Today, we will not be talking about Joe Rogan anymore, I don't think. I don't think that's going to come up. Instead, we are doing our typical Thursday episode. News and upcoming changes. There are not many things to talk about. There are a couple little items, though, to get into. As far as changes to the game, there is very little to get into, which is not terribly surprising. But there's some news items that are fairly interesting as well. But this is probably going to be a pretty short episode. Not too much going on here. But regardless, before we get into that, we have a couple of announcements first. As we said last episode, last week we missed our Thursday episode, so we kind of folded that into our last Saturday episode. That's kind of part of the reason we don't have much to discuss this week, even though we missed our last news episode. We basically went over all of that. So we're going to go over extra things. But another thing we missed was our new patrons, our new donos. There weren't any, and donate to the podcast now. And a couple other interesting announcements for the program. One person did comment on YouTube. I saw it in bed and didn't reply. They said, "Hey, where can we donate?" It's a great question, YouTube commenter, whose name escapes me. Thedropshot.com, buddy. And then there's a donate button. You can find that. And it should also be directly in the YouTube description. I'm actually virtually certain it is. In fact, I can look right now.
Heck, you can even super chat when you comment on YouTube videos.
Yeah, you could have done that. You could have just simply read the description. I mean, there were a lot of things you could have done, but you chose to take the most circuitous route possible and comment and ask. But asked and answered. There you go. And by the way, if you're not that YouTube commenter, also donate to us. Go to thedropshot.com or look in the show notes or the video description or the YouTube Shorts description or the TikTok link tree. I don't know. You'll figure it out. Yeah. Welcome to the show. So yeah, before we get into it, a couple announcements. First of all, welcome to our new gold patrons, friends of the pod, John Wick 666, yikes and change it, Caesar N, Guitar King, and Organibus 713. Boys, welcome to the Patreon, our new gold patrons. Thank you very much, and we appreciate it. And thank you for your patronage. Better than you, though, and people that we would like to thank more are as follows. welcome to our new platinum patron, Hayden W. Extremely white.
That is.
And a platinum
boarding
patron.
school right there.
That's a boarding school for sure. Yeah. His parents, and he's like, oh, but I kind of want to go to school by my house so I can see my parents. You wouldn't see your parents anyway.
Yeah.
You could live in your house and you wouldn't see them. They're on a business conference cheating on each other, power couple, and you feel neglected because you are neglected. And no matter how much money is in that trust fund, that empty hole in your soul, Hayden, will never be filled unless you upgrade to Damascus. But Platinum's a good start. So welcome aboard, buddy. Very much appreciated. We also got a new Damascus patron, and their avatar, I think, is a scrotum. Or
it's a set of balls. Yeah, that's for sure.
It certainly looks like it. Yeah, and
yeah, it's a sack.
That's a sack, yeah. So we'll keep that off the YouTube broadcast. But that's fine. I'm not offended by this. Nor the name, I guess. The name of this new Damascus patron is Razinon's Balls.
That's
cool, very interesting.
Yeah. He should have DM'd me. I could have given him an actual picture of your balls.
Yeah.
That would have been better.
Certainly could. Yeah.
That's cool.
So if you want a picture of my ball sack with the letter K on it, you can hit up Tanner for that piece of media. And welcome very much Razinon's Balls. Our new Damascus.
It's so
absolute
dumb.
Chad. It's insane.
I think when he first joined and I saw the noti, it was like Razinon's left nut or something, or Razinon's left ball. So he changed it. He made a little change. Yeah.
He wanted the dynamic duo to be the new patron. Yeah. Well, anyway. Welcome aboard, buddy. Very much appreciated. And also, we got a new annual gold patron going straight to annual, saving an amount of money because you get a discount going annual. Dave J, which might be a fake name, but Dave, welcome aboard, you fiscally responsible, wise, discount using king to the Patreon. Very much appreciate that. Patreon.com/thedropshot for all of your support needs, bonus content needs, ad-free episodes, early access to the public episodes, and the entire back catalog of bonus episodes as well. So you get a lot of little items there. Or if you just want to support the program, patreon.com/thedropshot. Thank you to all of you. We appreciate it. Speaking of the Patreon, by the way, we have done our first Patreon episode of the month. We wanted to wait for Season 4 Reloaded to start doing them. And in this case, that wasn't quite necessary, but it also sort of was, not for Season 4 Reloaded, but we had to wait for the leaks to come out. And the topic, of course, and this is available for all of our patrons. So if you're interested in this episode, by the way, you can become a patron at any tier and you'll get access to this one, as well as hundreds of others. Modern Warfare 3 leaks. That was our last Patreon episode. It is now live. It went live this morning. We're already getting rave reviews about this episode. And basically what we did is something we do pretty much every year on Patreon, is we kind of compile all of the official news or announcements about the next game, COD 2023. The unofficial stuff, so like leaks, rumors, etc. And then we also showcase the DMCA'd material that it may be difficult for you to find on the internet.
The images, maybe, yeah.
The images, yeah. If you tried hard enough, you could probably find all the images. But in this Patreon episode, we got access to a ton of pictures, leaked pictures of like the alpha for COD 2023, showing what the guns look like, what the UI looks like in-game pictures, and what the like perk system looks like. And we actually show them all on that bonus episode, because the bonus episodes we do video and audio. So we talked about them. It's listenable. But if you wanted to also see the pictures, you could watch the video version on again on Patreon. Part of the reason we don't do these publicly is because they would get DMCA'd, but since these are behind a paywall, they can't DMCA us. But anyway, none of the stuff was something, well, a lot of it maybe you guys haven't heard of. Basically what we did, we compiled all the leaks, all the rumors, and we talked about how likely these things are to be coming and if they were good ideas or not. And unlike the last couple years, there's some pretty different things coming next year for MW 3 based on these leaks that are pretty fucking interesting. Yeah. So like one of the things we went through was a bunch of the new guns that are coming. And that's an example of something that's not interesting. I mean, it's a Call of Duty game. There are going to be guns in it. I don't particularly care that much which guns are in and which ones aren't. And when people lose their minds, oh, the fucking ACR is coming back. It's a fully automatic gun that shoots bullets. I mean, of course, there's going to be a gun like that in the next game. So stop being excited. We went over it anyway, but nothing that groundbreaking or crazy there. However, the new perk system that is leaked, and there are screenshots from the alpha, so I find these very likely to be true, is super interesting. It's like a hybrid almost of the pick 10 system and the classic system for create a class, what we have now. It's a really interesting hybrid that could be done very, very well. So we talked a lot about that. I found that section to be the most interesting. And we explain it way more in the episode and we go into way more detail. And there were a couple other things too, but that was kind of the big ticket item in terms of what I enjoyed about that last episode and in terms of things that were actually frankly interesting for anyone, I think. Because again, we've done episodes before like, Cold War. But like when the leaks and rumors were coming out about Cold War, none of it was that crazy. It's like, yeah, there are going to be these maps. Like, okay, there's going to be Firestorm or whatever. And we were like, this maybe has potential, but it's probably dog shit. And we were right. And then that was kind of it. But this change to the create a class system that is being proposed really has potential. And I really, really, really fucking like it. I really enjoyed that episode. It's now live on Patreon. If you guys wanted to go listen for all of our patrons, you could sign up right now and go listen. Or if you're a patron, just keep in mind at any tier that is now available, as all of our COD episodes are, by the way. Yeah, if we do a Patreon episode and it's about Call of Duty, that's available to every patron. So you could just go gold, get all the COD content. Yeah. Or if you want more behind the scenes shit, Q&A questions where we kind of get into other topics as well as COD, then go platinum or Damascus. But how did you enjoy that last step?
Yeah, no, the loadout or the customization thing was for sure the most interesting. Yeah, so we don't know for sure, but it's definitely way more similar to like the loadout customization system we have now, but it's looking like some of it is going to be kind of like resemble a pick 10 type system where like if you take this certain perk essentially in the game, you're losing something else because you're taking that instead. So there's definitely something like that appears to be coming based on the screenshots and leaks and from what we heard. So yeah, that'll be interesting, which, would be good. I think we need some sort of balance like that. Like one thing you had said is how the lethal spam in multiplayer is so bad. And if you have some sort of system where if you get a good perk, you can't spawn with a lethal, that would be great for multiplayer especially. That would really, really help multiplayer. Because the last Vanguard, this game, MDED 19, I don't remember if Cold War had it to an extent, but this lethal and tactical spam was fucking crazy. Especially Vanguard. Vanguard was the worst. Vanguard, wasn't there something where you can spawn with like 3 lethals? Like 3 or 4? It was something like absurd.
Yeah.
It was far too. It was like one more than most other multiplayer games have, so it fucking sucked. So hopefully they do add something like that where it's kind of you start to, I think, balance multiplayer a little bit better that way. So
yeah,
hopefully they're on the right track there. They're not, but
yeah, we'll see. Like I said in that episode, and you guys can go listen if you want all the details and context. it has a lot of potential. Whether or not it will be executed well is an entirely separate question, but it's super interesting and it's pretty exciting. So anyway, that's now live. One other announcement here, kind of giga announcement, is about our Discord. So we're still getting fucking messages every goddamn week about I can't join the Discord. I don't know how to use my iPhone and use Safari to log into Discord. And I'm just done explaining it. So what we've tried now for the Discord, our Discord is no longer a not safe for work server. So if the reason you could not join our Discord in the past was because it was not safe for work and you were not allowed, you were allowed, by the way, because you couldn't figure out how to enable that setting, that obstacle is no longer in your way. So if the reason you couldn't join our server was because it was labeled NSFW, now you should be able to join because that is no longer true. So anyone who's had issues wanting to get into the Discord, wanting to join the Discord, please do us a favor, try again, get active, get involved. It should be easier now. If you try to join our server and it still says you can't join because it's age restricted, please let us know. That will almost certainly not happen. It shouldn't happen. We went to great lengths to make that not be the case anymore. But if so, let us know. Yeah. So please try again if you've been having problems getting into the Discord. If that was not your issue, but you still couldn't join the Discord, you should also try again, because maybe it was your issue and you just weren't getting that particular error message, even though in the back end that was the error. And also, we've tried a couple other things a few weeks ago, not surrounding not safe for work, to make it easier and more accessible for people to join. So pretty much anyone who's tried to join and they weren't able to, we've lifted a lot of those barriers. You should be able to join now. So for anyone who's wanted to join the Discord, give it a shot. And if you never thought about it, join the fucking Discord, obviously. Especially if you're a patron, you can link your Patreon account. It is, there's a guide in the Discord once you join it on how to do that. And you get access to exclusive channels, exclusive benefits, color changes, you get more attention. It's great. So yeah, try and join the Discord again. We also, by the way, for some utility, we have a patch bot channel now. So at the very top of the Discord in the information section, there's a channel. You can't post in it, but you can look at it. And there is a bot that automatically posts the most recent patch note article, and I say that in air quotes, if Call of Duty is posted about it. So if callofduty.com has posted patch notes, that bot will post in that channel with a link directly to the latest patch. Cool little feature for those of you who are in there or who maybe want to join. Go to the top, you'll see a new channel called, I think it's called, what is it called? Let's see here. COD Warzone Patches. You can go take a look at that. And if you're, like, oh, there was a patch, what happened? You can go look there. Sometimes it lags a little bit, but it seems to be working better now because the latest patch, I think it posted within like an hour or something, which is pretty cool. And then last thing is on Discord, we've applied our server for partnership with Discord. I'm not sure what that really does for us, to be honest. Not much. One thing I think it does is it allows us to have discord.gg/thedropshot as our URL.
Yes, that's the biggest thing.
Yeah, which would make it even easier for you boomers to figure out how to get there. If clicking a link is too hard for you, you can just type that in because it's all in English. And there are a couple of other little benefits that we want. And we are like straddling the edge of meeting all the requirements. And the only requirement that we are like kind of hovering around is active chatters. So we have plenty of users. We have plenty of like new users joining, I think. There are a bunch of other requirements relating to the size and activity of the server. We're meeting all of them. The only one we're like maybe not meeting is people chatting, particularly new people. So if you're a new Discord joiner and you don't usually talk, that's cool. Don't care. Type a single letter in any channel, and then you can just go back to never talking again. Yeah. Say hi, post your gun build, whatever the fuck you want. But we need more specifically chatters. Type in a text channel, say anything, and that will help us secure the partnership. Because we have met that particular criterion, but very narrowly in our applications under review. So that would help us out tremendously if you guys could chat a little bit in there.
Yeah.
So anyway, and if you haven't joined the Discord, you should join. It's got a lot of cool shit. We also post our schedule every week in the Discord. We post big announcements in our Discord. This is where we talk to you guys more than anywhere. There's some people that only comment on YouTube or whatever. And Tanner and I both read them all. Don't respond super often, but Discord, if you're going to get us to talk with the community anywhere, Discord's the place for sure. So keep that in mind as well. And if you were listening for the jingle, here it is.
Oh, one more thing. If you're having issues joining the server, another thing that may work now too, we're part of the Discord discovery page as of yesterday, which we weren't before. So basically, on the left-hand side of Discord where you see your server list, there's a plus, or there's at the very bottom, there's a button that says Explore Discoverable Servers. If you type in the Dropshot or Dropshot there, it'll come up with our server, and then you can click to join it that way. So that's another way you can try to join if you're having issues. Other than going to the actual link, you can search us on the discovery page. It's just it's a server browser for Discord servers, essentially. So try that.
Yeah, good comms. That's true. Yeah, you can just search for our server now. Yeah, our Discord is starting to look actually official. You have a little we have a server guide. We have a little welcome page. It's pretty dope. Pretty dope little server.
I am now licensed. Why is that not a GIF?
I don't know what you're referring to, man.
Yeah, because you're a shit can.
What is it? Tell us about it.
It's why Jake and I always say it's official. It's a video. Some mentally. He has a little less mental skill than some other people, and he's holding up this piece of paper, and he's like, "It's official. I am now licensed," because he got his driver's license, and it's so funny. It's a great little clip. Yeah.
Well, anyway, welcome to the show today. Call of Duty, episode 342, the Dropshot. So first things first here. Patch notes changes already in effect. We do have a patch that went out yesterday on the 19th. One thing that I don't know is in here. Yeah, I'm just going to say this. It might be listed in here, but there's been a bug where when you come out of the plane in Warzone, you can't go forward right away. You just drop straight down. So you have to pull your chute.
That was already fixed.
And then cut it and then go forward. That is now fixed. So you can it works now. So that's good. I don't know if it's listed in here. Anyway.
It was in the previous patch.
Okay. A couple other things here. Nothing crazy here, by the way. Reduce the damage and range of the underbarrel Dragon's Breath shotgun attachment. I never saw anyone using it, but there you go. And then that Corvus Torch underbarrel, which I believe is that Dragon's Breath attachment, is not allowed in multiplayer ranked, which probably makes sense. And then they also list a couple bug fixes here, none of which I don't think I care about, or you guys do.
Yeah, definitely, because again, they only fix issues that you've never heard of. Fixed an issue where the War Tracks preview audio would overlap when previewed in another vehicle. Yeah. Yep, they list that. Just remember that. They list that.
Yes, they do. So, moving on here. Anyway, now the Warzone specific section for this patch. Warzone ranked play restrictions, the X13 auto, and the Basilisk. So for those of you who have been playing anything except for Warzone ranked, you have certainly noticed by now, people are back on that Akimbo Basilisk snake shot type beat, and on the X13 Auto built like a submachine gun, because even though it's a pistol, it has a double the first damage range, or more than that, of every SMG in the game, which makes no sense. But this is an Infinity Ward title, of course, so why would it make sense?
Yeah.
So, given that, and a faster time to kill in addition to a
At
longer
all
first
ranges.
damage range.
Yeah.
Yeah. By the way, yeah. So, someone in Discord pointed out, evidently, the X13 Auto has a faster time to kill than the Cronin Squall at every range.
It does, yeah. Obviously, the velocity is far lower, so you're not like realistically winning those gunfights, but pretty funny. Pretty funny. Yeah. I mean, I'm at the point now where I'll consistently use it at 30, 40 meters even, if I don't want to swap my gun or something, and because it kills faster. If someone's like running towards me or something, I use it all the time.
Yeah.
Long range, so pretty cool. Good stuff.
It's like actually broken, so
yeah.
If you are playing, you know, Vondel or Ashika, or even pubs, use the X13 Auto. If you really love staircases, use the Akimbo Snake Shot Basilisk, because those beat the X13 Auto in a staircase. But because they're insanely overpowered, instead of balancing them, they just took them out of Warzone, right?
Yeah.
So
that's cool.
Which is fine. I would much prefer they just balance the weapons and then leave them in ranked. But much like snipers, they're against doing that. So they just take it out. Like, balancing is boring and hard. We're just going to not let you use them. That's how they balance weapons for ranked play in the video game, is they just take things out that are good. And then they don't have to balance. It's pretty high IQ, I guess. So anyway, cool. Yeah. Infinity Ward.
Raven a year ago would have just balanced them by now within these 2 or 3 days. But I don't know if we see these touched until season 5. Jesus Christ, I can't believe it's already season 5.
I would not be surprised, actually.
Because it's only 12 days away, so I don't even know if they do it until then.
Probably not.
Today's already Thursday. Sure, they probably won't be doing it the next few days. If they do, it wouldn't be till probably like the 25th or 26th, and at that point, it's less than 7 days till the next season. So then they'll probably think, oh, it's easier if we just put it in with the next season. So, yeah.
Yeah. So, yeah. Hope you like them. Smile. One good thing about that, though, which is kind of fun, is if you are playing Resurgence, you can drop Overkill, because the best gun is the X13 Auto. So it's actually a hindrance to have Overkill right now on Vondel.
Yeah.
And the nice thing about that is, like, you can run, you know, Tracker or Bomb Squad or whatever.
Tracker is pretty good on Vondel.
Yeah. Tracker is pretty nice, especially with the fog, too, by the way. 2 pro tips real quick. I'll just intersperse them here. Pro tip number 1, Tracker's real nice on Vondel specifically because of all the fog that is often on the map. You know, it's good for like running people down in buildings, because they could go into multiple rooms and whatever, and there are a lot of buildings. It's obviously good for that. It's obviously nice for that. But also what you might not think about is, like, let's say you're on a rooftop and it's foggy, and some team is running into circle and you're trying to zone them. You can just lose them in the fog, but with Tracker, the fog does not obstruct the vision of the footprints at all. So you will see the footprints as clearly as if there was no fog, even though you won't see the guy at all. So you just kind of shoot in front of the footprints and you'll get hit markers. It's really nice for that as well. So yeah, don't sleep on Tracker for that reason. Pro tip number 2, Jake made this point a couple weeks ago, and I can't believe I hadn't thought of it, but if you have your slide button keybound, stop. And what you should be doing is changing whatever you used for the slide key in MW19, make that dive, so that you immediately start the dive rather than having to go through the like change stance delay when you press the button. This has helped tremendously, and it makes it easier to jump off the roof and immediately dive to like get more distance, which we've talked about as well. So pro tip for you, stop using the slide button and change that button to dolphin dive, because there's no reason to slide ever, actually. So if you're incapable of sliding because of your keybinds, that's a good thing. It should just be dolphin diving. There's no reason ever to slide. So yeah, there's a sick game, by the way. There's another little pro tip. But anyway, moving on back to the patch notes. Gameplay adjustments, a further reduction in the frequency of temp V drops in all modes. Temp V is, of course, the limited time field upgrade with the superpowers shit. This is definitely true. There are fewer temp V field upgrades, for sure.
Yeah.
And then a couple other bug fixes that probably don't matter.
Yeah, it seems like they don't matter.
Yeah, pretty small little patch there.
Oh, fixed an issue causing armor plates to lose functionality in private matches. And then
That's
also
fixed
an issue where armor plates would occasionally lose functionality in private battle royale match. So they listed the same thing twice and they just worded it differently. Yeah. That's cool. Yeah.
Yeah,
the armor plates weren't working in private matches, I guess. One of the core parts of the game, inserting armor. So your health was not working. Imagine if that just said private matches had like 50 less health sometimes. That's what that meant.
It's
pretty wild bug, yeah.
It's insane bug.
It's so funny to look back and think that early in 2022, when Caldera had came out, God, maybe it was even late 2021, they had said, we really want to expand on private matches, add some excellent features, work on the functionality, customization, like that's in the works, we're working on it. Mid 2023, private matches, it still has different. Private matches literally had 50 less health 2 weeks ago. Like it wasn't updated to the new health yet. It's a disaster. They don't even update it, and they had talked about they were working on a brand new private match system with custom rule sets and everything, and now you also need double the amount of people to even start private matches. They got on the internet and they told us a lie.
Yeah. So. Just par for the course for Infinity Ward. One feature they did add that works super well and effectively, though, is the reconnect feature.
Yeah.
That's what I've been told. Our Twitter account had something else to say about that, though, which I found interesting. How is the reconnect feature working for you?
Yeah, so the game, I was playing ranked. Screen goes black. Keep in mind, I don't know if at all in the last 2 seasons while playing Resurgence or something, my screen has ever just gone black to my whole PC crash. I've had dev errors plenty of times. My game froze, all my monitors went black, and I was like, oh, cool. It restarted my whole PC. And then I see the Windows logo pop back up, so I'm thinking, oh, cool. Hope the game didn't just fry my motherboard or something. Super sick game. So I load back up. Immediately launch the game. By the way, they do not give you enough time to reconnect. They do not give you enough time. I have a above average speed PC. I immediately logged back in, immediately got back in Discord, opened up Battle.net, was back in the game. At that point, I only had 1 minute and 5 seconds left to reconnect. They must only give you 2.5, 3 minutes. It is not enough time at all. That needs to be 5 minutes or some shit.
Yeah.
Because by the time your computer crashes...
Yeah.
People on a slower PC, you're not even reconnecting in time. It's crazy.
Yeah, that is weird.
Yeah, so then, so that was cool. I'm like, oh, okay, so I'm going to reconnect. Gives me the option. I spawn in. I'm thinking, okay, I'm just going to be, dead or something. Whatever, then I'll just have to be bought back. No, I'm in the gulag. And you're thinking, oh, yeah, you're in the gulag spectating, waiting for a match. No, I'm in the middle of a gulag match. I reconnect in the middle of a gulag match, and I'm standing there, and I can't move my character, and I have no guns out, and I'm watching the enemy player cap the flag. I can see him capping the flag, and then I lose, and it says gulag defeat, and I'm like, the game can't wait until it can't wait another minute and just put me back in the queue, and just put me back so then I can actually be reconnected before it spawns me a gulag opponent. It's crazy. It's absurd. So yeah, that was cool. Then what happened after that? So then I watched Jake run around, try to get money. We had a random trio who was miserable at the game. So Jake runs around looking for money. He buys me back. It's third. It's the end of the second circle, the beginning of third. And I'm looking around, I'm trying to decide where to land, and I'm like, where's the loadout? And I'm looking all around the map. And I like say it out loud like 2 times. I'm like, shouldn't we have had loadout by now? Where is the free loadout? And Jake's like, oh, you don't see it? I'm like, what are you talking about? He's like, it's right here. And he marks a random spot on the map. And I land there. Sure enough, the loadout's just sitting there. It's not on my mini map. It's not on my TAC map. I don't see it when I'm staring at it. There's no icon. So I just don't get a notification. By the way, you don't get a notification, and then other times the game lies to you and tells you have a loadout drop when you don't. Cope got baited by that this morning because he hasn't played Warzone 2 that much.
Still a bug.
I was like, oh, cool. I'm like, we have another fake loadout drop over there. And Cope's like, yeah, I landed on that thinking it was a loadout. I'm like, yeah, it happens almost every single game. You either get a fake loadout drop, or it just doesn't even show you ones there. Yeah, so that was cool. And then, get my loadout, and then you just go on. And then I die to 3 guys that were all on top of you because you have to get taps to get SR in this game. So then all squad members just run a foot from each other, and it's not exciting to take gunfights when it's always 3 guys together. So that's cool. The match ends. We fully lost. We lost. Jake pulls us out, and I get back to the main menu, and it says, you've abandoned the match. You have a 15-minute penalty, and you've lost 50 SR.
Yeah.
Miserable rank system. So we lied. We got on the internet and we told you guys a lie. We said we're doing a ranked Warzone episode this month. We're not. Because ranked Warzone fucking sucks because the game sucks. So there will be no ranked Warzone episode. It's a dead mode. It fucking sucks. And I'm not playing it. So sorry we lied to you guys. We're not doing an episode on it because there's nothing to say. It sucks. It's everything wrong with Warzone is just amplified when you play that. So yeah, there's not going to be an episode on it.
The number of issues that you had using the reconnect feature is actually like insane.
Yeah.
And I don't know. Like, yeah, I don't know. It's just crazy. It's crazy. It's almost not even worth having the reconnect feature at all when there are that many problems with it. Like, you might as well just not even try.
I think we said that.
Use your gun.
Yeah.
Like you can't pick up your loadout. You can't, you're going to lose SR either way because it's going to tell you abandoned even though you didn't. So like, even if you guys had won that game, you would have just lost SR for abandoning even though you didn't, even though you abandoned because it's the game's fault.
Yeah.
Like, yeah.
It's probably the first time ever in Warzone ranked I've lost SR.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So anyway, shout out to Activision.
I don't know if I literally lost SR because I saw that and then I just quit to desktop. I don't know if it's like a visual thing or if I really did lose it. Who knows? But it certainly.
You probably did.
Yeah, I'm sure I did because I read that on Twitter all the time that people crash and then they lose the SR from crashing from the match, and then also they lose SR as like a penalty. So that's, I think, been a bug since they launched Warzone ranked. But yeah, some of the stuff like the fact they still have not fixed the loadout marker bugs. This is what I'm saying. This is why reading the bug fixes and the patch notes just don't matter, because nothing that you listening have ever experienced has ever gotten fixed once. Not once. They don't fix any of the actual bugs. They fix the small, easy to fix, simple shit like the war tracks overplaying or playing over another war track or something. They fix that because it's easy for them to do. Everything else they just leave. They leave season after season. That loadout marker has been bugged since they added the free loadout drops to the game, which was what Season 1 Reloaded, the start of Season 2.
Yeah,
it's been that way since then.
Long time ago.
And they still haven't fixed a fucking icon on the map showing up incorrectly. So
it's so core and integral to Warzone, and it also seems like it would be such an easy fix.
You would think it would be so easy. It
boggles the mind that they haven't fixed it yet.
Yeah.
And it's also just so annoying. And it's relevant like every game, too. Yeah, it's just... Infinity Ward, if you like this dev studio, unsubscribe from this podcast.
Yeah.
They've done nothing but harm the Call of Duty franchise. So anyway, yeah, just thought we would mention that as well.
Yeah.
So anyway, back to patch notes and then changes. Another little tweet from the COD Updates Twitter account. Not that they tweet every update they make, but they just randomly... They pick like I don't know, they use a number generator, and if it's like a 1 through 5, they're like, oh, we'll tweet about this one, just randomly. So they tweeted about this particular one for DMZ. we've just released a small update to plea for help in DMZ, which is a feature in DMZ where if you get downed to an enemy squad, you can plea for help. And then if the enemies accept, you can be assimilated into their squad. So your team can go from three people up to 6. Players can now accept pleas for help from enemy players they have downed or killed. This does not auto-assimilate the 2 squads, and the grace period is still active.
Yeah, you get like some sort of grace period now if you revive someone or do like the plea for help. You don't have to automatically join their squad, I guess, but it's like you guys can't kill each other for like 60 seconds or something like that.
Yeah, how is this different than how it used to work?
Well, I think what they did this season originally, or with this last update, the Season Reloaded update, is they changed it so you can no longer revive a team you killed. So if you killed people, they were just dead, and if they plead for help, it didn't matter because you couldn't revive them, or they couldn't plead for help, something like that.
Oh, okay. Weird.
But, yeah.
Yeah. So, anyway, cool, I guess, for the DMZ players out there. And now moving on, and that's it. Patch notes, changes already in effect. That's all. Not really too much has changed, which is not terribly surprising. And we do have Season 5 coming relatively soon, so that's something. But we'll keep you guys posted on that. Now into news and upcoming changes. First item here is pretty funny and pretty insane. Speaking of Activision being shit. Charlie Intel tweeted this an hour ago. The tweet reads as follows. Did you buy the World Series of Warzone Rat Pack bundle a few weeks back in the COD store? You shouldn't have, and you deserve this. Well, that sucks, because it's now free with Amazon Prime Gaming, which probably more than actually 60% of everyone who plays Warzone has Prime. So if you have Amazon Prime, you can get that pack that they were selling for COD points and or money.
2,400 points, I think.
Which is like more than 20 United States dollars for that amount of points, by the way.
Yeah.
That bundle, you can now just get it for free if you have Amazon Prime.
Yep.
So this is actually crazy, and I don't know if this was an oversight or if they just don't give a fuck. Because this is pretty like wild to me that they're going to sell a bundle and then just make it free for everyone who has Amazon Prime. And it's not a similar bundle. It's not like a bundle that has some elements of the one they sold, but not others. Like the operator skin in each bundle is the same, but if you wanted that particular weapon camo, that's only in the purchased version. No. The entire bundle and all of the contents. It's the identical same bundle, and you can just get it for free now if you have Amazon Prime, which most people do. I got it, for example. So thanks. Get scammed, anyone who bought that bundle. And also, you deserved it.
Too.
You deserve it, and I'm glad you lost money if you bought that bundle and have Amazon Prime, and now you're kicking yourself thinking, damn, if I had just waited, I could have gotten it for free. I could have saved all those COD points. You deserve it. Get scammed. Why are you giving Activision money at this time? But with that said, even though you do deserve to get scammed on this topic, this is crazy to me. This is one of the most egregious things they have done in a long time. I don't know. This rubs me the wrong way a lot. And I do wonder if they're going to get a ton of backlash for this, because this is still a pretty new development. So if Activision will end up like refunding people who bought it before or something, then we wouldn't know about it yet.
Oh, they're not doing
so
that.
I don't know. Yeah, I don't know. What are your thoughts on this?
Yeah, they had... So I have like notifications on Twitter for their tweets, and I'd seen a notification for something about like, here you go for you Sentinel players, like blah, blah, the Rat Pack now available. And then at the end, they put like an asterisk next to like Sentinel, and then they wrote like Camper at the end of it. And I went to that tweet, and as soon as I clicked on it, it had already been deleted, and they hadn't tweeted anything since about it.
Oh no.
So I think, yeah, I don't know what was with that, but maybe like, I don't know, maybe they thought I was going to bring too much drama to them. I don't really know.
Yeah, they're just begging for backlash if they tweeted
exactly,
that.
Yeah,
that was a dumb tweet for sure.
So they immediately deleted it, and yeah, this is still available though for now. Yeah, I was telling Raz before this. I thought this had happened one time in Warzone 1, and I don't remember what the skin is, but I thought there was like, you know what I'm probably just thinking of actually? I think it's not the nuke skin that you could buy that looks similar. I think it's this last season where they let anyone get the nuke skin because there was a nuke contract every single game. I think that's what I'm thinking of. So everyone who had grinded that early on season 1 earned their nuke skins was completely ruined at the end of season 3 when every single BR match would start with a contract so you didn't have to win 5 games in a row. That's, I think, what it is. That's also very scummy. You didn't have to pay for that one, though. But, yeah, this is pretty wild. The exact same thing. So, thanks for the skin, though. It is a cool-looking skin.
Yeah, I'll take it. I'm actually probably going to start using it.
I think I'm going to start using it, too, yeah. So, thanks. Appreciate it.
Yeah, thanks, Activision.
Get shit on if you guys spent money on that.
Yeah. This is crazy to me. I don't know.
Yeah, they won't refund. I agree with you, Paul.
I think what's going to happen is Call of Duty will say nothing about it ever, and people are just going to forget in like a week. Yeah, I don't think they're going to refund. I don't think they're going to do shit. It's just never going to come up again because there's going to be so much more information and like news coming out. It's just going to get lost, you know? Yeah. But so whatever. Anyway, shout out to Activision, I guess. So moving on here, we talked about this a little bit on Patreon, I think. Or no, we talked about this on, well, we did talk about it on Patreon. I think we also talked about this a little bit on Saturday. This is the Swagg video about the Swagg weapon blueprint that was leaked. We did mention this on Saturday, right?
I don't remember. I think we did, yeah. And then we showed the leaked skin in the Patreon episode that went live this morning, yeah. Yes,
so yes. Anyway, the story here is, a couple days ago, weeks ago maybe, some leaker data mined Swagg like bundle in the that was going to be coming to the game. So there was the Nick Mercs operator bundle skin. There's the Tim the Tatman one. And then Swagg is another very popular content creator for Call of Duty. He was the person, in fact, that Tanner and I said should have gotten the skin first. Because unlike Tim the Tatman and Nick Mercs, like he's been like a COD player only for like fucking 10 years now.
COD only for years, yeah.
Yeah, and he's cool dude. I like him. But anyway, he was going to get that operator bundle, I guess, and it was going to be coming out pretty soon. And we haven't really heard much about it since, until Swagg released a YouTube video amidst the leaks. And I did not watch the video, but it's no longer, the skin is no longer coming to the game because they are afraid of what happened with Nick Mercs and all that drama happening again. And for those of you who don't know, they had the Nick Mercs operator bundle. They released the thing, and then Nick tweeted a tweet about like gay kids or something. And then,
alone,
yeah, it was pretty mild. But anyway, yeah. And then Activision, being afraid of the LGBTQ lobby online, was like, we're going to remove his operator bundle from the store. Not the game, though, because we're not going to refund the people who've already bought it. Because we don't want to like be associated with someone who is perceived to be like homophobic or not progressive enough or whatever. And once that had happened, Tanner and I said, and this is not like a big brain prediction, but we were like, oh, they're just done using content creators as operator skins now, which is a real shame for all the other potential content creators who could have gotten their own skin. Like, that really sucks for those people that it was kind of ruined by, Nick Mercs and Tim the Tatman. To whatever degree you lay blame at their feet is a separate question. We've talked about that a lot when it happened. But yeah, Swagg was going to get one. And I guess in this video, he says like, yeah, we're not doing it anymore because they're afraid of the Nick Mercs thing happening, which really sucks for him. Did you watch the video at all?
Yeah.
Tell us about it.
Yeah,
what did I miss?
So he said this started like 3 months ago. He received a call from COD. They're basically like, hey, like we want to get one of your, we want to get a blueprint in the store, your logo, your stuff. So we want to work on that with you. So his was not going to be its own operator like Tim and Nick have. His was going to be, he was going to have his own operator skin, but it wasn't going to be like his own actual operator on the list.
It was like a skin for an existing operator.
It was a skin for an existing operator. I don't really know much of what the difference would even be there. And then he was going to get weapon blueprints. So he said the skin was like 30 to 40% completed when it was canned. He said they were going back and forth. He had only actually seen it one time up until that point. And so they were going back and forth. He said they had a lot of really good ideas. They were working on a lot of stuff. He had seen it when they went out to Raven Studios to do something. I think that was right around when all this shit happened with like the slide canceling and like all the drama around like Joe Woe. When all the content creators hyped up that update. I think it was from that. Yeah, that was like going into season 3, I want to say, or season 2 Reloaded. So he said he was on a plane to Europe when he got the news about them or Tim requesting his skin to be taken out in solidarity with Nick, and then COD responded and they said we've removed the skin. It said less than 24 hours later he got a call from Call of Duty, and the most corporate sentence, basically they said we are going in a different direction and won't be going forward with this bundle, and that's like all they told him. They wouldn't, like obviously they're not gonna say, oh yeah, because all the drama, we don't want to go forward with this. It's just like some lawyer probably called him and read off some line that they had came up with. So then he wanted to even show off the leaked blueprint since it was leaked, and he reached out to COD and they said no, he couldn't show it or anything. So I was gonna show it, but then once he said that in the video, I'm like, oh, okay, because it's still gotten DMCA because it's still their property, I guess. I don't know. But I did show it on the Patreon episode if you guys care. That was in there, part of that. So yeah, that sucks. Swagg did say, yeah, you know, it was like a dream come true for me, and it's something I would have always wanted. You know, he's like, I don't blame Nick or Tim. It's not their fault, but you know, it sucks because it was in the works. I was super excited, and to just, you know, never see it come to fruition sucks. So that's too bad because he was deserving for it. There's another guy too. There was supposed to be a bundle for it. It was called like the French Monster. I guess he's some big French COD YouTuber, streamer. I don't really know. I only really know about the North American creators typically, but yeah, so that one was obviously canceled too. And then I don't know, Swagg did say in that video that they won't be doing any more content creator bundles. He didn't necessarily say if Call of Duty told him that or if he's just saying that, but I think it's pretty obvious either way. So yeah. That sucks because he, I think, was very deserving of that. Probably one of the most deserving people out there.
Yeah, and if they're not going to make a skin for Swagg, who else would they make it for? Like, yeah, they're pretty much done with these for at least for the next like couple years. That if Swagg isn't big enough to get one, I don't know if anyone is to like be worth the risk or whatever. Again, like I had said when the Nick shit happened, if they ever do a content creator one again, which I don't think they will, they would pick someone who is very, very PC and like super brand friendly. Like there was this girl who was really popular in MW19, and I don't really see her anymore. I don't know if she still plays COD, but her name was Butters. I would always see her on Twitter and TikTok, and she was like this like cute little blonde girl that made like funny Warzone clips or whatever. And that is the type of person that would get like an operator skin. Because that girl is never, ever, ever going to be in a controversy. But people like, you know, that are really dedicated COD players that have been in the scene forever, it's over forever. Which again, it really sucks for them. But, you know, I not much anyone can do, really, and it's not surprising. I don't even necessarily blame Activision for the decision. It just sucks.
Yeah.
But anyway, you know, one thing they maybe could do is like part of the agreement, the contract they signed with Swagg for the skin is like they can add a clause where it's like, okay, there's a morality clause, which is very common in contracts. And they can say like and it could basically say, you write it in legalese. If you like make controversy and we have to pull your skin, then we don't owe you any money for the skin. And if we've already paid you, like you're gonna have to pay it back. Like they could just put that in the contract, maybe.
I wonder how that even worked with the payments
to them. Yeah, it's a great question. I don't know. Always get paid up front.
Well, because I could see them almost not even paying him, honestly, because from his point of view, he's getting a lot of publicity that way as well. I don't even know if I wouldn't think it's even a guarantee that they paid
if they didn't pay him, the content creators. I would be shocked.
I would think a lot of them would just do it because it's like, especially him, he's played COD for so long. Like, he's saying yes to that either way if he gets paid or not.
Oh, for sure he's saying yes to it either way. But
that's why I'm like, I don't even think they need to pay them.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I would take it for free. Well, I wouldn't take it for free because I would know I could get money off of it. And they're going to be making money off of your likeness. So, like, there's no way they aren't paying them. Yeah. Yeah, this isn't G Fuel. They're not just, like, fucking exploiting these kids, Yeah. It wouldn't be worth it for them.
That's
if that ever came out, that would be a whole other controversy. Like, imagine if they did it and Swagg was like, oh yeah, they didn't pay me, but it's cool. I like Call of Duty. People would be mad on his behalf. Like, what the fuck? They're making money on your face, dude. That's crazy. This is so predatory. Yeah. Even if Swagg was okay with it, yeah, they would definitely pay him.
Yeah, it's just like, they will never do these again for years. Maybe at some point in the future, but not for a long time because it was way too much risk and there's no real reason to do it. They make so much money on all their other bundles and shit anyways. Like, they don't need to make a Tim skin to make a bunch of money. All of you idiots are buying Black Cell anyways. Like, they're doing fine. So it's a lot of risk for them to get like, sure, some money, but they're making that money on the rat skin too that they have now given out for free. They made all that money.
Yeah, it is a pretty high risk maneuver. That's true. I was gonna say maybe it just didn't occur to them, which it couldn't. Maybe it didn't. I don't know that this is possible, but either way, whatever. F's in the chat for Swagg, the guy who actually deserved it the most, I think. But anyway,
yeah, definitely not Nick. He did not deserve it at all, but. Fuck Nick.
Yeah, for sure.
So moving on. So this we didn't talk about on Saturday. This we talked about on the Patreon episode. So all these leaks started coming out earlier this week, over the weekend. Leaks all over the place. And Call of Duty, it was kind of like up in the air. Everyone was wondering, are they going to acknowledge it? Are they just going to ignore it? Because they were copyright striking, DMCA striking, all of this stuff. It was all the images were being taken down. So instead of just ignoring it, they instead tweeted something out a few days ago. They said, let's get this out of the way. Should MW2 operators, weapons, and bundles carry forward into Call of Duty 2023? And for the poll, you can choose either yes or yes when is reveal. Then they go on to say, look for the first details about the redacted reveal event in the Season 5 announcement and additional MW2 carry forward details soon. Stay frosty. So essentially, what it sounds like, if they're not getting on the internet and telling a lie, sounds like they are confirming what one of the leaks had been, which was MW2 guns, operators, all of that will be usable inside of MW3 multiplayer. So your Orion Cronin that you're using in Warzone right now will obviously carry forward in Warzone. That's always been obvious. It still isn't confirmed, but that's how it's always worked in Warzone. It will work that way. But now, if they're not lying, those guns can be used in MW3 multiplayer when that launches later this year. You'll have that whole set of guns, all of your bundles, the operators carry over, all of that will be coming to multiplayer.
Yeah. Which is one thing, this was, I think, leaked. We had talked about it too. That's something a long time ago I think I had said is possible. Because again, COD 2023, which is now we know is going to be MW3. Or we don't know officially, I guess, but it's going to be. was originally going to be like an expansion pack, basically, and then they decided to make it a full-ass game so that they could, they decided to call it a full-ass game so that they could sell it for $70. And so they were going to have to take a lot of shortcuts, and one thing I had said is maybe they're not going to add that many guns, and they're instead just going to carry over the MW2 guns into MW3. Turns out they are going to do a full suite of new guns for MW3 and also carry the guns over from MW2. So there are just going to be a fuck ton of guns in MW3. This has never happened before. Weapons carrying over to the next multiplayer game is very interesting. Operators and bundles, I'm less interested in. I think it's cool. That's fine with me. But the weapons themselves is pretty crazy. This also lends credence to something we've talked about before, which is that this game, MW3, is going to feel extremely similar to MW2 in terms of the UI, mechanics, etc. This doesn't necessarily guarantee that, the fact that the weapons carry over. After all, Cold War weapons were usable on Warzone 1, and those games felt very different. So it's possible that even though the guns are carrying over, the game is going to feel very, very different. I just don't think it's very likely, and I think what's far more likely, and this is another little piece of evidence suggesting this, is that MW3 is going to feel very similar to MW2 in terms of, again, core mechanics, time to kill, recoil, visual recoil, animations, etc. Again, that's not a guarantee, but this does imply that to me, which is pretty interesting as well. The reveal event, by the way, which they have replied to, look for details about the reveal event in the Season 5 announcement. We're going to be learning details about that, if they're not lying, in less than 2 weeks. So that'll be interesting, and we'll go over that when it comes out, obviously. But I'm a little less interested in this. However, it does seem to be the case, and we talked about this on Patreon, that episode is now live, by the way, for all patrons, that event is going to take place within DMZ, which is kind of interesting and fun. And I think if there's going to be a reveal event, DMZ is actually probably the best place to do it. Because it's the most leisurely mode you can play, where the servers already support a lot more people than just like 6v6 or something. And it might be like everyone in the lobby is on the same team against AI, which was the case for the Cold War reveal when we had to, or something, where we had to destroy the train together. That was like that reveal event.
Yeah, that was the Vanguard reveal. Yep. The
Vanguard reveal event, and that's what I said. Yeah. So that's like kind of cool, whatever. Again, we talked about this on Patreon, but it's a reveal event, whatever. I don't care that much. But the weapons carrying over, I find very, very interesting. Yeah. So anyway, a Call of Duty Twitter account has confirmed it. So that is officially confirmed.
Yeah. And I think, I want to say, I think the original date that Tom Henderson had leaked for the reveal event, it was the first or second week of August, I'm pretty sure. And that's going to line up with when Season 5 comes out. So it could be that. It could be very close to around that. Because I think... Season 5 should come out on August 1st, I believe. Yeah, August 1st. Tuesday, August 1st. So that would line up with that. May see some sort of reveal.
Yeah.
Which will be exciting, but also... It's going to be a 20-second clip of not actual gameplay. And it's going to get everyone hyped, and you're going to think it looks really cool, but just keep in mind none of it's going to be gameplay at all.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. We're not going to learn anything about... Besides the leaks episode and our Patreon episode, patreon.com/thedropshot, available for all patrons right now, even if you sign up late. You're not going to learn anything about... You're not going to learn anything official from like a Call of Duty source about any gameplay or relevant mechanic for MW3 for quite a while still. So yeah, rely on leaks or wait. those are your options. But anyway, yeah, pretty interesting stuff. The weapons carrying over is pretty big deal.
So moving on here. Fun and exciting stuff. Activision making money. So all this is going to be from Charlie Intel. The shareholder meeting was yesterday for Activision Blizzard, so they talk about everything that's going on. So Activision says Season 3 of Modern Warfare 2 delivered the highest microtransaction revenue for Modern Warfare 2 so far, with Black Cell sales doing incredibly well. Company says MW2 premium sales at an all-time high. So yeah, it's embarrassing how many Black Cell skins I see. I shoot the bodies of everyone I see. It's fucking embarrassing. And as a reminder, yeah, like actually fuck you if you purchase Black Cell and then complain about the game being shit. Because you give them, what is Black Cell, $30?
30 bucks. USD, not COD points,
30
direct
bucks.
USD.
Yep. USD. So you guys need to stop doing that. Don't do it when Season 5 comes out. Holy shit. I can't believe all of you people still buying these Black Cell bundles and all the other crazy overpriced bundles. So yeah, they're doing just fine. So if you wonder why they're not changing anything related to the game, I mean, again, they continue to make more and more money.
There's no reason to, yeah. From a business perspective, they have no incentive to make the game better because they're making even more money than they did last season. And the reason they're making more money is not because they improved the game at all. It's because they introduced a new microtransaction. Yeah. The Black Cell bundle. Yeah.
Yep.
So,
and then, people always have the take, like one of our TikTok comments was like, no, like you guys need to just stop playing the game. Everyone needs to boycott and stop playing the game. Fucking be realistic. That's not going to happen. That's also like, I'm playing the game every day, but I'm not buying anything. So sure, I'm adding a number, but I'm not spending money every day like some of these people are on the game.
They're not getting money from us, so we're not supporting this. Yeah.
Exactly.
We're just adding to server load.
And it's just so unrealistic. Just stop playing the game. Stop playing the game. Like, come on, use your brain and be realistic. It is extremely realistic to tell people to stop buying Black Cell. I genuinely did not think it would sell that well because so many people were mad about the game. But again, it's like, all these streamers that complain about how they hate everything with the game and, how they hate the movement, they can't slide cancel, and then they all hop on an update day and they buy 3 bundles. So they're all just massive hypocrites, if you ask me. And spit gif, all of them.
Yeah.
So yeah, fuck you if you buy those. So moving on, development.
Unless you love the game, then buy them all you want, I guess. But you shouldn't be complaining about how bad the game is and then spending $30 every season minimum for the fucking Black Cell bundle.
That's my biggest thing. Yeah. Yep.
Get out of here.
I use my COD points and I buy the basic battle pass every season, and that's what I do. I don't know the last time I bought an actual skin or anything in a game.
The last time they got money from you was probably when you purchased the box MW2. I would imagine.
No, I think I purchased one bundle early on in maybe before Warzone even came out. I'd like the skin. It was one of the female operators. It was like kind of this red skin. I did run it for a while, but I think that's the only one I bought. Yeah. So yeah, be realistic. If you don't like the game, stop buying the bundles. If you do like the game, then cool, spend all the money you want. I was telling you, it's dumb to complain every single day about the game and continue to give them so much easy cash with an operator bundle. So
yeah, for sure.
Moving on, development of this year's full annual premium release on PC and console is proceeding well, says Activision. Warzone Mobile still planned for this year. Yeah, Warzone Mobile rumors are starting to come out. I think there's a leaked date, I want to say of November. So a lot of people will be excited for that. I don't care, but it'll be a very big game. Activision Blizzard generated $1.56 billion in microtransaction revenue from April to June of this year.
Holy shit.
Yep. Yeah.
Oh my god. Let's do some quick maths on that. I'm gonna do some quick math.
For what? How much
$1.56 billion. Yeah. Billion divided by 90. Because what is that? That's April, May, June. Yeah. Let's see. Come on, Google. I don't want to type all those zeros. Okay.
Google is such shit.
560. That's 1, 2, 3. That's million. 1, 2, 3 billion over 90. Okay, let's do it that way. And now I have to count threes. Okay, so 173,333,333 dollars a day. So that is what? There's going to be a little comma here. 17. No way. $17,333,333 per day in microtransactions, according to my absolute calculations. We used to think it was absurd when they were making $3 million a day in microtransactions. They're making upward of $17 million per day in microtransactions because of the Black Cell bundle. Hey, if you think the next COD game is going to be better, maybe it will be, but not because they have a monetary incentive to do so. They don't.
Is so crazy.
That is
$17 million
outrageous,
a
dude.
day.
Wow. Wow. That's unbelievable, dude. That's in microtransactions alone, by the way. They're probably still selling a couple boxes every day. You know.
They're selling the game every day, probably. Yeah. People are still
exactly.
buying the game.
Yeah. Like buying new accounts, all the cheaters, to get back into like multiplayer ranked or whatever. Yeah. So they're making more than just that. And this is on one video game, by the way. Well, Activision Blizzard's got a lot of games, but just for COD, this is outrageous.
I don't know if it's just for COD. It does say Activision Blizzard generated this much, so that must be for like Diablo and shit too.
Good point.
So maybe COD's...
That's a great point.
But even then, COD's still going to be around... I mean, COD's still in the millions. We don't know what it would be aside from that, though.
Yeah, you're right. I'm sorry. Yeah, that was totally misleading of me to say. You're right. I was thinking that was microtransactions for Call of Duty, but that's all microtransactions that Activision Blizzard does. So there's more games than that.
Let's see. There's another image here, though. So the Activision Publishing Division has already made over $1.1 billion in revenue in 6 months of 2023, a $200 million increase compared to last year. I don't get what that means. The Activision Publishing Division? Because that number is less than the other number they just said from April to June.
So I think Activision Publishing, like if you sell Modern Warfare 2, the video game itself, that game is published by Activision, so that revenue counts for the publishing company. But that is not a microtransaction, for example, so that $60 doesn't count toward the microtransaction total. That's my guess.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm trying to see here in the specifics if you can see kind of how much COD makes. Activision.
Nothing. Oh, wait. It's hard to say. There's Activision, there's Blizzard, and there's King. I don't know what King is. Or is that what it says? King?
Yeah, it's King.
Yeah, King. Yeah,
we looked it up one time. I don't remember what King is either. Is it maybe mobile stuff, I wonder?
Yeah, something like that, maybe.
Yeah, so anyways, then moving on. Despite higher revenues for Activision in Q2 compared to Q1, Activision's monthly active player counts fell from 98 million in Q1 of this year to 92 million in Q2. And that is in line with, let's see, 92. That's at least in the last year. June of last year, it was 94 million active monthly players.
And this is all Activision games again. Yeah.
Well, so that's Activision. Blizzard and King are different on there. So this is just Activision titles itself. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. So yeah.
So 92 million down from, when Warzone 2 launched the end of last year, the monthly active users, it was 111 million. Now it's down to 92 million. So still a lot of players. I mean, people will say, oh, the game's dying. I mean, 92 million active monthly players. They're still doing all right. And they're not doing too bad. 17
million a day in microtransactions for the Corp. So yeah.
And as I pointed out recently, the Steam charts are actually higher this month than last month, just by a little bit. But it was the first month that numbers didn't fall, so Vondel's helping the game in that regard. But
yeah, it's not beyond. Yeah, exactly. It's not a dead game. People that say that are just unserious.
Yeah.
But anyway.
Activision Blizzard is now making more money from PC and mobile than consoles. So mobile brought in for this year $1.9 billion. PC brought in $1.25 billion, and consoles $1.19 billion. Again, that is all Activision Blizzard titles right there.
Also not surprising, and I would expect that trend to continue.
King
because
is Candy Crush, yeah.
Because PC gaming is getting more and more popular relative to console gaming, with crossplay now. Because if you can do crossplay and use your controller still on a PC that could potentially have way better performance than a console, which is very limited in terms of how much it can be upgraded or whatever, you're going to see PC sales go up. Yeah. So I would assume mobile is going to be the biggest earner for a long time, with PC in second and consoles in third. Yeah.
Yeah, mobile's going to skyrocket too when Warzone Mobile comes out. It's going to be so much more in like Q1 of next year. So much.
They're going to make so much goddamn money. Yeah.
Yeah.
God damn it. Yeah.
Yep.
So anyway, there you go.
Next up, this is a funny one. So this is from Charlie Intel again. The group of gamers who filed a lawsuit months ago to block Microsoft's acquisition of Activision Blizzard yesterday asked the U.S. Supreme Court to intervene. The U.S. Supreme Court has rejected their request, of course. So if you guys don't remember, we mentioned that on the pod. Like earlier this year, some random group of guys filed some lawsuit to block the transaction. It was actually like 3 or 4 just gamers. They filed it to try to stop the merger for some reason. And we're like, what are they doing? What, like, they're actually just wasting their own time. What did they think was going to happen? What were they hoping to gain from that? Like, what could they possibly gain? Could they somehow sue and get millions? I don't see how any of that would work. It was so weird to me why they would waste their time and probably money. I'm sure they had to spend money, maybe not, since they didn't actually get the case.
Probably a group of lawyers, like lawyer nerds that like play video games. Yeah,
that could be
but still a huge waste of time. Yeah.
Yeah. So pretty cool. Pretty good stuff, yeah. And then so still the UK CMA is the remaining person blocking the deal, the remaining group.
Yeah.
Microsoft and Activision have also announced an extension to the merger agreement. So the agreement was supposed to finalize by 2 days ago, July 18th, actually. So they couldn't get it finalized by then, so they extended it. They now have until October 18th to finalize it. I think at some point they can't extend it anymore, and if they don't come to a deal, they basically have to go through that process again, I want to say, of everything they've been doing, dealing with the courts and all that. So they're going to come to an agreement. It's just there's so much going on. It takes them a long time. So it'll happen, but may not be till October now, till the deal actually goes through. And don't forget, just because the deal goes through, there will be like nothing that changes from our point of view as players for probably years. You won't notice a difference. It'll be a long time. I mean, even like little things like how the microtransaction, DMZ, pay to win stuff, I don't think any of that will be changing once Microsoft takes over. Because there's going to be so much they have to do and focus on, and things that they'll want to change, firing people, getting new people in lead positions and whatnot. So it will be years before we see any actual changes coming from this.
Yeah, the only things that you would potentially notice right away would be maybe some Game Pass shit. It's like more COD in some capacity is more
Game
accessible
Pass.
on Game Pass. They could do that like pretty much instantly if they wanted to. And then I doubt this heavily, but it's possible. A couple months after, server performance changes because they start using a different server host, whether that be Microsoft's own servers or whoever Microsoft uses now. That wouldn't, I don't imagine, take forever, but like most things, like long-term plans, they're long-term plans. Yeah. Like, so I don't know.
Servers, that'd be a big one. Yeah.
Yeah. Servers would be a big one. Yeah. So, but yeah, like Tanner said, most of that shit is not most things that are relevant from an acquisition are not going to be noticeable for years, actually. Yeah. So,
and last thing here, we have a little article here from PC Gamer. So this is about Overwatch.
Which is an
Overwatch is an
Activision
Activision
game.
title, yeah. So Overwatch League at risk of collapse as teams vote on $114 million exit payment. Activision Blizzard's latest financial report does not point to a bright future for the company's big esports league. So in May, Activision Blizzard warned the Overwatch League is not in a good place. We had talked about that because they had mentioned CDL too. The city-based Esports League is facing headwinds, as the publisher put it. They are taking a toll on both its current operations and long-term future. They acknowledge the efforts to address those challenges may prove unsuccessful. The future of the Overwatch League grew even murkier with the release of Activision's most recent quarterly financial results, which indicate that the league could be forced to make significant changes to its structure at the end of the current season and might even shut down entirely. During the second quarter, we amended certain terms of our collaborative agreements with teams participating in the league. According to the amended terms, following the conclusion of the current Overwatch season, the teams will vote on an updated operating agreement. If the teams do not vote to continue under an updated operating agreement, a termination fee of $6 million will be payable to each participating team for a total fee of $114 million. So basically, yeah, if that doesn't, like, people are essentially saying Activision is trying to pay the team $6 million so the league could just be done with and dissolve. So,
and by the way, part of that termination fee, because that might sound crazy, I would not be surprised if, like the CDL, each team also had to pay $10 million to be in the league in the first place. That's probably why there's a termination fee. Like we know in CDL, to have a CDL team, it was like a $30 million fee to be in the league for a game, which is crazy. So there's probably a termination fee in those contracts with all the CDL teams that are in the league right now, where if, or that were, I guess, this year, where if the league ends, they get the termination fee, which is really just some or all of that money back. That's my guess about what this termination fee is all about, because I don't understand why else there would be one.
Yeah.
Where you pay the teams because the league dissolves. I think it's probably because the teams had to pay initially to join.
Yeah. Yeah, I guess.
So, yeah.
That would be it. Going to say, despite a torrent of money being poured into it, the Overwatch League has never lived up to its initial promise of a city-based esports league. The plan to move to playing home and away games in the style of pro sports leagues was battered by the COVID-19 pandemic.
That sucks.
Major sponsors have lost interest, and there's still no Overwatch publisher in China. Really? A big problem given that 4 of the league's teams are based in that country. Huh.
There's something offensive in Overwatch to China, I think. I don't know what it is or what happened, but I think it has something to do with Taiwan. There might be like a hero that's like Taiwanese or some shit.
Yeah.
Yeah. So China's like, cool, you can't sell your game in our country.
Chinese government, yeah.
Of like 2 billion people or whatever the fuck they're at now. Yeah. So that's a pretty big deal.
Yep. So meanwhile, the league is not making money. Activision said today that revenues generated by the Overwatch League account for less than 1% of the company's total net revenues. So yesterday, the company laid off around 50 employees in its esports department. This is at Activision. A move one employee described as a significant gutting of Activision Blizzard Esports. So, you know, that's CDL is in there too. They're an Activision Blizzard esport, technically. So yes. Another employee said that Activision was planning the shutdown of some of the tools it uses to run its tournament, and while replacements were in development, the layoffs included at least some of the people who were working on them. So they go on to say some more. I think that's pretty much it. So kind of the thing, though.
Real quick, hot take. I think esports and esports leagues are going to just completely die inside of like, well, maybe not completely die, but they're going to be way less popular than ever in like 10 to 20 years. It's happening with Overwatch. It happened with Hearthstone, by the way, which is another Blizzard game. It's a card game by Activision Blizzard, and when it launched, it was insanely popular. And many of the biggest streamers on Twitch were big because of that game, Hearthstone. And there was a huge competitive scene around it, an environment, and it contributed tremendously to how much money the game itself made, because they had all of these crazy events where, you know, the Hearthstone major finals or whatever, they'd get a fuck ton of advertiser revenue because a fuck ton of people watched it. and the payouts were huge and there was a ton of hype. And, you know, as the years have gone on, Hearthstone competitive has just gotten less and less and less popular. And now it's like they have cut back so much on it that I don't even know if there's like a Masters or Grandmasters series or whatever anymore. And part of that, of course, is because Hearthstone itself is less popular than it used to be, even among casuals, just like players per month or whatever. But I think part of it, too, is that I don't think the audience is that much there for competitive leagues and competitive games. You know, back in the day when gaming was very hardcore, everyone who played video games, like a multiplayer game, was the type of person who would be interested in a competitive league for that environment. So like you think of anyone who played StarCraft 2, when StarCraft 2 came out, if you played that game, if you played any computer game, you were a super nerd and you were super competitive. So a league would like appeal to you. But games are just so much more casual now that most people just don't give a fuck about the competitive league aspect of the games they play. And also, how much easier is it to just sell a Black Cell bundle than to organize a whole fucking Call of Duty league where you have to be having negotiations with all these different orgs and teams and dealing with talent. You have to find venues. You have to rent out stadiums. You have to hire film crews. You have to hire fucking
casters,
announcers, casters. Yeah. You have to do all this like hiring, and then the people in charge of the hiring, you have to pay them a salary. You have a whole esports division that's in charge of like handling all that, in addition to paying film crews that are like third party or whatever. It's just a tremendous expense and amount of time and payroll, where like if COD just stopped doing esports, they would lose the advertiser revenue, but they could also fire everyone in the esports division. And the most expensive part of running any business in the United States is labor. So if you cut a division, you don't have to pay the health insurance, the fucking dental, the 401k match they probably do, and of course the salary itself. You know, like that's a huge expense in money that they could afford to just completely cut. And if it's not making them as much money as it used to, and again, compare this to a Black Cell bundle. How much overhead is there for that? Well, you need an art department anyway, right? Because you're going to make operator skins even if you don't sell any microtransactions. Your character has to look like something in the game. The map has to exist, you know? So like you're going to have that department regardless, unlike an esports division. So hire a couple more of them, and that's way less overhead than a whole new division you're going to need for esports. And then you have them make cool looking skins, and then you sell boatloads of Black Cell bundles for very little extra expense on your end, very little cost, and a lot of gain. How much easier is that than an esports league? Like infinitely. So and again, because I think gamers are just less and less competitive, and gaming itself in general. And, you know, we could talk about SBMM. We could talk about crossplay. Like gaming in general is becoming more ubiquitous. It's becoming more casual. Fewer and fewer proportion of the gaming audience is going to give a fuck about like the highest end competitive gameplay for any game. So I would not be surprised at all if esports in general just like becomes a thing that's only in like Counter-Strike, Valorant, Rainbow Six Siege, and games like that are built from the ground up only for competitive. And every other game like Halo or Call of Duty or Hearthstone, where it could be competitive, but it's not necessarily, they just stop doing competitive altogether. I don't think that's going to happen for quite a while. Again, 10, 20 years probably. But I think eventually we're going to end there, honestly. But yeah, I do wonder how this bodes for CDL.
Yeah, it's weird because even I think there's some like ESPN channel now too that came out like a couple years ago. That's like an esports channel. It's like they've been trying to like force it to peak, and it just continues to not do very well. Like these competitive leagues, none of them do well. Same thing with gaming organizations. These big gaming orgs, they should all be dead. I don't know why they still exist. None of them make money. They all end up losing money pretty much, and they all disband, or they all end up being scummy and like not paying people that were in their team. There's a bunch of drama with Xset recently with that a few months back. Maybe it was the end of last year, where like basically they made a bunch of promises, like told people they'd get paid, or like told people they couldn't do certain brand deals because they didn't approve it, and then they would get them a brand deal and then from that same company and pay them far, far less than what they would have gotten directly through it. There's no need for any of the gaming orgs either. And I think it's kind of with these like leagues and tournaments, they've gotten too big to try to cater to like all these casuals that, you're right, don't care. No, people don't care about it. I've played COD my whole life. I don't care about the CDL. The game doesn't have a high enough skill ceiling in multiplayer for me to ever be interested. It's not a competitive game. I don't think it has been for a long time. I think like COD was competitive back in the day when it was like bolt action rifles and stuff. COD 2, COD 1, when like you had to hit nasty shots. It's just like actual just brain dead chimp. Use your thumb and kind of move it a little bit, get a bunch of aim assists, and then shoot some guy. It's boring. It's boring to watch. It's not interesting. That's why the only competitive leagues that I think are still doing well are the hardcore old school games, that whether or not you think it's skill to play games like Counter-Strike and be like compete at that top level is like very, very difficult to do. And those people have been playing Counter-Strike for like literally 15, 20 years nonstop. You're not going to get to that level. And it's just, those games have a higher skill ceiling, and it's more interesting to watch. Like I used to watch a lot of competitive Counter-Strike, even when I didn't play the game. I always thought competitive CS was the most exciting esport. I don't care about CDL. I still don't. If there was a big Counter-Strike tournament on right this second and the CDL Grand Finals, I'm, as a COD podcast guy, I'm watching the Counter-Strike tournament always.
Yeah, exactly.
Because COD esports is not exciting at all, I don't think. So,
yeah.
But yeah, it's like they put so much money into it now, and you're right. It used to be like people, like if you owned a PC in 2005 and were playing video games, you were hardcore. You're right. You were not a casual at all. And so like those people too, to play in tournaments back then, there was no overhead, because some group would be like, hey, we're throwing a tournament in this big warehouse. There's no air conditioning. It's on this weekend. There's I'm not kidding. It'd be like $5,000 prize pools. Nothing. People would travel across the country to do it. They'd bring their PC, they'd bring their keyboard, their mouse, their monitors, and they'd set it there for a chance to split $3,000 first place prize pool with their 5 total teammates. Yeah. But and now it's like, you're right. You go, they have security, they have some massive venue, they have a whole TV. So they spend millions and millions of dollars on one tournament. And how do they make money off that tournament? They don't. It has to be only based on like sponsorships, and sponsors don't care either, because they're just not doing well in terms of like views. Like people are always like, oh, CDL Grand Finals had like 100,000 viewers or however many on Twitch. That's not very many. Counter-Strike tournaments had that fucking 15 years ago. And gaming is way more mainstream now. And it's still, for how many people play these games, those are not good numbers that COD pulls in. They're just not. So yeah, I think you're right. I don't know the trend of where esports is going, but I think a lot of these more casual games, they need to stop trying to force them to be esports when they are not. There's just not a high enough skill ceiling. They're uninteresting, and it costs way too much to put all of it on.
Yeah, exactly. Like, and the games that will have esports like in perpetuity are going to be games, again, like I said, like Counter-Strike, where when the devs like first thought of Counter-Strike, they were like, okay, let's make a game that's like a ranked, like we're designing the game for ranked play only. And then also we'll like add a casual mode so like people can warm up. But like the game was designed to be competitive. Those games are still going to have like leagues or whatever, obviously. But yeah, casual games where it could be a side mode. Yeah, I don't think so. And again, I don't think it's going to happen right away. So I said like 10, 20 years. Like people in chat are pointing out, CDL is very healthy, has a very healthy player base still. That's certainly true. That's why I don't think it's like going away next year or anything. But I think it's on a downward trajectory, and that's probably going to continue. And another great point from Absolute in chat. Most of the top streamers aren't focused on being the best at any particular game anymore. Yes, that's another thing. If you were really, really, really good at Call of Duty 10 years ago, 15 years ago, the only way you can make that a job is get signed by a league that will pay you a salary, and then also you get prize earnings as well. So like if you were like a professional StarCraft 2 player, that was how you got money, because there was no live streaming, there was no TikTok, there was no Instagram Reels, and there was not a huge market for like YouTube videos even of like highlights or like good games or whatever. If you were a really talented player of a video game, for you to make the most money playing that video game, or indeed any money playing that video game, was to play in the official competitive league for that game, or in the like unofficial one that's the most popular.
Yeah.
But now, imagine whoever the 10 people are on Earth that are that play Call of Duty as their primary source of income. How many of those 10 people are in the CDL? I would be almost certain when I say literally 0 of them. If you want to make a ton of money playing Call of Duty, the best way to do that is not to be in the CDL. It's to fucking stream and make TikToks and, sign $100 million signing bonus or contracts with kick.com, the new live streaming thing. So in addition, you have all this talent where the only place they could go before to make money was the league, but now they're avoiding it.
Yeah.
Like, oh yeah, I'm the best Call of Duty player on Earth. Why the fuck would I join the CDL for a $100,000 prize pool I split 6 ways? Maybe, if we win, by the way. And then I have to scrim for 12 hours a day, and I'm not allowed to stream that. So I'm losing all that money. And it's way more dog shit. It's harder. It's more boring. It's way less relaxing. Like, so in addition, nowadays, you're not even attracting the best talent for your official leagues, because those people can make way more money by not playing in the league.
Yeah.
So you're losing talent that way too, and probably a ton of it. And that's also going to contribute to the decline of like esports. Yeah, for sure.
So I looked it up because CDL does always like to brag about this, how high their viewership numbers are. So they did hit good numbers this year. So the most watched match, I guess, in the 2023 playoffs, it was like around 300,000, 294,000. A Counter-Strike tournament 2 years ago, peak viewers 2.7 million. Call of Duty has a way higher player base than Call of Duty. I mean,
oh yeah,
Call of Duty has a way higher player base than Counter-Strike, but people don't care about competitive. So like CDL keeps saying, oh, record-breaking numbers, this and that. All the CDLers are like, we're hitting good numbers. Sure, good numbers for you guys. They're not good numbers at all for the esports league though, or any esports game. It's just not. I just found a chart right now. Still, the Warzone World Series of Warzone has a higher peak viewership, like the one time they did it in 2021, than the CDL has ever had. Warzone peak viewership is 441,000. I guess
it's not an official, or it was official. Number.
Yeah, I guess at some point during COVID in 2020, there was a tournament where CDL hit 439,000. So yeah, but like the top games. League of Legends, 5.1 million is the viewership. PUBG Mobile, 3.8 million. Dota, 2.7 million. Fortnite, 2.3 million. Valorant, not even an old game, a new game. COD's been around way longer, 1.5 million. So the CDL numbers, sure, they're better for themselves from what they used to be, but they're not good numbers at all for an esports league that puts in that amount of money and makes the teams buy in $30 million, whatever it costs. They do not put up good viewership numbers whatsoever for what they should be.
And like people are saying in chat is a good point too. part of the reason those numbers are what they are is because they bribe viewers with like the rewards. So like Twitch drops. So if you watch for an hour that event, you get, you know, an hour of double weapon XP in game or something. I've absolutely I've had that website pulled up with the video playing before.
Same.
So that I could get double weapon XP.
You know what? Counter-Strike does that too, though, now that I think about it. They do drops like that. All of them do, yeah. So that probably balances out, really.
Yeah, sure. Yeah. And it's smart to do that. But yeah, like, you do wonder how many people would be watching without this. Because I imagine Counter-Strike would experience less of a loss if they stopped doing drops than Call of Duty would.
Yeah, drops do some crazy shit. Didn't like 2 years ago during the when Tarkov was doing the crazy drops around Christmas, I think Pestily was like in the top 5 for Twitch viewers that month.
Yeah.
Because he had so many concurrent viewers because like Tarkov had crazy drops.
Crazy shit.
Yeah. So that does inflate it, but yeah, I think all the esports are doing that. So
Which they should.
I don't know.
Smart.
I wouldn't be surprised if, CDL is not like gonna be gone this next season, but yeah, I'm not sure. They need to, it's almost like they need to do online only to save money, but then they can't because then all the kids cheat. So there's just no way around it. You kind of have to do these LAN tournaments. I think they just get a little bit too into it and spend too much money. Cut back on it.
Yeah. So again, it's not going anywhere anytime soon. The CDL's not gonna fucking stop anytime soon. Overwatch League might, but the CDL won't. But we just thought we'd kind of touch on what we think is the broader trend of esports, which, it is what it is. So anyway, other than that, boys and girls, that is it. We will be back on Saturday for a review of Season 4 Reloaded. It's gonna kind of be like a first impressions episode. We didn't title it that because it's not our first impressions really anymore. We've already talked about it a little bit. And we're going to have a lot more playtime than we otherwise would for a normal first impressions episode. But yeah, we're going to do basically a first impressions episode on Saturday, talk a lot about Season 4 Reloaded. A lot has changed. We have a lot to talk about, what guns we've been using, what guns are good. Primaries, of course, because the secondary is obvious, but we'll touch on that topic as well. And that's going to be really interesting because there's a lot of cool stuff to talk about. And interesting things. And we did play some ranked, so we're going to touch on ranked a little bit too, and what guns are good, and what the strats are like, etc. So be here for that on Saturday, normal time, thedropshot.com. You can find us on Kick as well. We live stream there and on YouTube and on our website. And reminder, once again, if you have been trying to join the Discord, but you couldn't, you should be able to now. Try and join the Discord now, please. And if it doesn't work for you because it says not safe for work, let us know. It should be easy to join now. It's discoverable as well. So if the link doesn't work for you, go to Discord and just search for the Dropshot podcast and try and join that way. That might work for you as well, which was not possible before. Check out the patch bot in there, and then a reminder for all of our patrons, or maybe you as a prospective patron. We just put out an episode where we showed a lot of leaked images for MW3, and we talked about the MW3 leaks that have been coming out. It was a very interesting, fun episode I really enjoyed. So if you're a patron, that's available for all of you. And if you've been thinking about it, now's a good time, especially if you're interested in MW3, because we went into a lot of detail on what that game will look like. And if you wanted more bonus episodes in addition to that, if you wanted ad-free episodes, if you wanted early access to those episodes, patreon.com/thedropshot. $5 a month, you get a ton of shit. You could upgrade as well from that tier if you wanted even more bonus episodes. Check out the website for details, and stay humble.
Stay humble.